Times Square, USA. New York, New York, crossroads of the world. Hershey's, Toshiba's, companies all over the place. Sean Jen, Buff Daddy. What's happening here? Today's Broadway on Broadway. Very exciting. And it's also the live feed of Good News Planet. We're so excited to have the opportunity to utilize the EarthCam cameras to be able to pause the world. And you can hear water. Alrighty. Mamma mia. New thinking, new possibilities. Okay, so here on the 21st.
Square. Welcome to Broadway on Broadway 2012. I'm Valerie Smaldone, and I'm delighted to be the announcer once again for this great event. Broadway on Broadway is presented by United Airlines. If there's one company out there that helps Broadway reach the highest heights, it's United Airlines. United has been a partner of the Broadway League for nearly 2 decades, bringing theatergoers to New York and to cities across North America that host touring shows. On behalf of the Broadway League and all the shows represented here today, here's a big Broadway thank you to United Airlines. Today's concert is also presented by the New York Times.
Charlotte and I would like to welcome you today to the 20th anniversary of Broadway and Broadway. You know, when this event started 20 years ago, New York City and Broadway and Times Square were in a very different place. It was an event conceived to try and impress the Democratic National Convention, which was meeting then, and to put our best on display. But we've come a long, long way in 20 years. New York City is booming and Broadway is booming. Compared to that season 20 years ago, Broadway's attendance this last season was almost 70% higher, and now Broadway is pumping $11 billion into New York City's economy. Of course, none of this would be possible if the city weren't already safe and clean. And so it's really, really important to start with the most important folks that have transformed Times Square, the men and women of the NYPD. And then along with them, the folks from sanitation that keep the city clean and safe. And of course, all the folks that are part of the Mayor Bloomberg's administration who have been such great stewards of this city. Because of them and because of their efforts, this is the most densely packed, most attended entertainment district in the entire world, without exception. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Charlotte St. Martin of the Broadway League.
Thank you, Tim, and the Times Square Alliance for creating the world's best stage for Broadway on Broadway. And we love being here on our 20th anniversary, and we're excited that you're here to celebrate this amazing moment with us. One of the reasons that Times Square is such a great place for our visitors and New Yorkers alike is because of the 12.5 million people who visit our theaters and Times Square on an annual basis.
It is a deep privilege and honor for me to introduce a man who has done so many great things for New York City over his term as mayor. Today, we thank him and the city for its support of the Spotlight on Broadway Awards. Fresh off a couple of tornadoes, bringing us some good weather today. Please welcome Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
was in this city yesterday. And I was worried about today. But then I remembered what Annie said. The sun will come out tomorrow. Look at this. Any Broadway fans out there? I thought so. Well, these days the bright lights of Broadway are shining like never before. Record attendance, great for business, and great for those people who want to come here and have careers and entertain the rest of us. And it's certainly wonderful for the 52 million tourists, not to mention the 8.4 million people that live here. 60 million people who get the chance to go to Broadway shows. That isn't good. I don't know what is. Now, the Great White Way is the heart of this city's history, and it's one of the biggest tourist draws. And the new Spotlight on Broadway project puts the history and highlights of Broadway really at center stage. It is a terrific resource for those who love Broadway, whether you live here in the city or you're just flying in across any place in the world to catch a matinee. And I want to thank the next speaker, a wonderful woman, Kathie Oliver, who's the commissioner of the Office of Media and Entertainment, putting together the Spotlight on Broadway, but also she and her agency really has done so much in the last 10 years to make New York City the media capital of the world. Let's have a big round for a woman who's changed our life, Kathie Oliver.
Thank you, Mayor Bloomberg. We're so happy that the sun came out and that you came out to celebrate Broadway on Broadway. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today, and I know how much all of you love Broadway. At the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, we love Broadway too, and that's why we're very excited, as the Mayor mentioned, to announce the launch of a new multimedia project called Spotlight on Broadway. The intention is to celebrate the city's vibrant theatrical history and to honor the thousands of men and women who've made their careers in New York City, both on stage and behind the scenes. So starting today, you can visit spotlightonbroadway.com. It's a new website. You can watch video documentaries about the history of Broadway's famed theaters. Now, these videos include interviews with some of your favorite Broadway stars, restoration architects, union members, producers, and historians. And they provide a really exciting look back at memorable moments from Broadway productions, captured with original and historical footage and photographs. So please take a look. Spotlight on Broadway sizzle reel will now be playing. The magic of Broadway comes alive the moment we enter a theater. The Majestic, the St. James, the Ambassador, their very names evoke the storied history of the Great White Way.
You have to recall a time when there were no movies, there was no television. Broadway was the center of entertainment life.
You'll also be able to watch these videos on the city's TV station, NYC Life, that's Channel 25, and on Taxi TV. The entire series of 40 videos will be unveiled next year, and plans to showcase Spotlight on Broadway, including on-site installation right here in the heart of the theater district.
The life and trials of Aimee Semple McPherson. Please join me in welcome Kathie Lee Gifford.
Hi, everybody. Have a great new season. All right, if you see my Spanx, you see my Spanx. It's going to be that way, all right? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 20th anniversary of Broadway on Broadway. I am beyond belief excited and delighted to be with you today as this great event celebrates its 20th birthday, making Broadway magic right here on the Great White Way. All righty. Hoda was Dateline Hoda when I met her, if you know what I mean, right? And when we started to work together, I said, Hoda, you gotta come with me. I'm not going back to television unless I can bring my passion with me. So she said, you said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So, yeah, I said, every Wednesday, you and I are gonna have lunch, honey. We're gonna have a little sip of something, as my daddy used to say.
Yes.
Then we're gonna go to Broadway. The first show I took you to was South Pacific, and we started singing Some Enchanted Evening. Otis said,
This is from that?
can you believe it? Then we went to see Patti LuPone in Gypsy. Yes, everything's coming up roses. And Otis said,
That's from this?
and finally, she had no idea where your favorite song had ever come from. We went to see Catherine Zeta-Jones in Little Night Music, and she started singing, Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? And Otis said,
This is from that?
and that was 4.5 years ago, and now she thinks she's Ben Brantley.
Cheers, you guys. Have fun.